Airbnb rules that were coming in, not just the Airbnb rules, but the short-term lets ones. Another measure that the government wants to introduce to free up rental accommodation. Can you take us through very briefly what that is? And there were some changes and a little bit of rollback this week.
Yeah, originally it was supposed to be towns of 10,000 or more would be restricted in terms of Airbnb. You would not get a planning permission to have a short-term let. This goes back, well, kind of before the last coalition, but anyway, at the start of the last coalition, some of the independents and Kerry TDs were not happy about this, particularly Minister of State Michael Healy-Raes and Children's Minister Norma Foley, because Kerry is, a tourist hotspot and there's a lot of short-term lets there. What happened this week was late night on Monday, a decision was made to change that 10,000 threshold to 20,000. And it was kind of originally dressed up as in 20,000 was the significant thing. But what it effectively meant that was that towns of populations between 10,000 and 20,000 would now be excluded. And that goes to the likes of Killarney, Kenmare and other places.
That's 29 towns that will not come under these requirements. So there's many towns. There will be no town in County Galway, bar the city itself, where the new rules will apply.
The government has argued that this is a balance for the tourist industry, and
that they needed certainty.
Firstly that they needed certainty, but also that they couldn't completely crush it in certain towns and certain areas, etc., etc. It might be a disincentive. Labour has pointed out, much like they did with the rental rules, Conor Sheehan, the housing spokesperson, that this is shafting renters even further because it means that more supply now won't be freed up for renting or for purchase, which was in part the aim of the policy. The government has also, or rather say the Enterprise Minister Peter Burke, has denied that this was any sort of sop to the Healy-Raes and to the Kerry TDs. It's really hard to look at it as anything but that.
It is.
We know that Michael Healy-Raes wrote to his colleagues over this in recent months, and only in the last few days we've seen him out on social media celebrating this as a win for Kerry.